Turning now to the mayor's race, where in an acrimonious blow-up, Curtis Sliwa quit his radio job after his boss and station regulars begged him to drop out of the race.
Okay, so let's talk about the New York City mayor's race, because it's crazy. All right, I like to call myself a New York City refugee because I left New York City when it was getting really, really bad. And my two big issues were crime and the migrant crisis. For the migrants, I got pissed off when the city started spending hundreds of millions of dollars on migrants, putting them up in these luxury hotels.
The Row NYC, formerly the Milford Plaza, used to be one of Times Square's most popular hotels.
Come on along.
They called it the Lullaby on Broadway.
Lullaby of Broadway.
But nowadays, Mayor Eric Adams has a whole new idea for this Broadway mainstay, housing upwards of 600 migrant families in a portion of this hotel, alongside tourists and locals alike. The daily weekday rate for a standard room with one full or queen-size bed in mid-September, around the same time the hotel could begin housing migrants, ranges in price from $414 to $435 per night. Superior rooms with two double or queen-size beds featuring decorations inspired by New York City's subway system range in price from $445 to nearly $550 per night. Pricey? Yes. Of course, if you cross the border illegally, your stay is on the house.
You think that's bad? Well, then when they said we're going to kick you guys out of the $400 a night hotel rooms, the migrants said, hell no, we're not going to go. We deserve the $400 a night hotel rooms. Look what we've been through.
Check out what happened in New York City last night. Okay, protests broke out when dozens of people refused to leave the Watson Hotel in Midtown Manhattan. The city is kicking them out and relocating them to the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal. Mayor Eric Adams has ordered construction of a temporary emergency shelter there for people who are in this country trying to stay here after crossing our southern border. Some of them told reporters conditions will be inhumane and there won't be enough food for them, so they want to leave the high-dollar hotel and go to a structure that the mayor is going to build for them. Brian.
It's outrageous.
So you think that's bad. But then we had a crime problem. See, they did this whole criminal justice reform, and crime on the subways just like went out of control. It was so bad that they had to send the National Guard into the subways just so people felt safe.
Expect to start seeing hundreds of National Guard members throughout the subway system conducting random bag checks.
Governor Kathy Hochul announced that she will now be deploying around 750 National Guard members and around 250 state police troopers to conduct random bag searches at some of the city's busiest subway stations. This comes as subway crime is up 13% compared to 2023, with assaults on the transit system up 11%. According to the NYPD, 2023 had the highest number of subway assaults since at least 1996.
If people are feeling unsafe and won't come, then I have to do something about it.
So when I left, things were going pretty bad in New York. And on top of that, New York is a very expensive place to live.
We want to get your take, as always. We talk a lot about the cost of living on the show,
Yikes.
but that's kind of an abstract concept at this point. Well, a new study aimed to give us some real data for reference. The study comes from the finance company Smart Asset. It defines comfortable as spending 50% of your income on necessities like housing and utilities, 30% for discretionary spending, and then 20% for savings.
Oh, that's hard.
It feels like good luck when you read those numbers. So how does this all break down in the real world, right? That's what we want to know. According to the study, the average salary needed to live comfortably in a major city is $96,500 for one person and roughly $235,000 for a family of four.
Yikes.
I mean, I'm sure you get where we're going with this one, right?
Yeah. Yep, New York City is not average, of course. So researchers say a single adult needs to make more than about $138,000 to live. And remember, we're using broad quotes here, comfortably, because a lot of people are doing better on less, right? And a family of four needs more than about $318,000.
What do you do? What do you do here for those looking for more comfortable life financially decisions here? They say you should just move to Texas.
Okay.
What?
Where exactly? Where?
Well, I'll tell you. In El Paso. Paso, Lubbock. Okay, all those cities, they require just a single salary of $75,000 to live comfortably. On the other end, New York is number one.
Now, with an average salary from $73,000 to about $80,000 a year, that falls short of the $140,000 roughly needed to live comfortably in New York. And that doesn't tell the full story about the problem in New York, because the poverty rates are on the rise. This is New York City's food bank, and they have some key findings in a study that they performed. 26% of NYC children, 420,000 children, live in poverty. That's more people than in Tampa, Florida, Aurora, Colorado, Wichita, Kansas. All have less people in total than New York has children in poverty. And remember this chart where it says if you want to live comfortably in New York City, it's $318,000 for a family of four. Well, in New York City, 58% of those families make less than $94,000 a year. So there's no way they're living comfortably. And they wouldn't even be living comfortably if they were single. So I don't think I'm breaking any news here. The majority of people in New York City aren't living comfortably. They're living day to day. So now that brings us to New York City's mayoral election. Now you have three very different candidates. First, this is Zohran Mamdani. He is as radical left-wing as you can possibly get in the United States. Now he's running a kind of Robin Hood campaign. Tax the rich and give to the poor.
Let's talk about free buses. Mr. Mamdani, this is a centerpiece of your campaign. Can you explain how you will make buses free? You have 30 seconds to answer.
Absolutely. We will make buses free by replacing the revenue that the MTA currently gets from buses. This is revenue that's around $700 million or so. That's less money than Andrew Cuomo gave to Elon Musk in $959 million in tax credits when he was the governor. And the reason that we will do so is that making buses free doesn't just provide economic relief, but also public safety. Because what we've seen is that it decreases assaults on bus drivers by 38.9%. New Yorkers deserve more than the slowest buses in the country. I know that because I was on the M57 not too long ago, and its average speed is 4.9 miles an hour.
We're at time, though, but the question is how you'll make them free.
We will fund the revenue that would have otherwise been brought in from fares, and that's something that we would do in partnership with Albany, and I've put forward two proposals. The first is to raise taxes on the top 1% of New Yorkers by 2%. That would raise $4 billion. The second is to raise the state's top corporate tax rate to match that of New Jersey, which would raise $5 billion.
So did you get that math? That's $9 billion in new taxes that he wants to impose. And he wants to spend that money. He wants to give people things like free grocery stores and free childcare. He has a wish list and wants to make everything free. Like I said, the Robin Hood campaign.
I'll make buses fast and free,
so I can just get where I'm going.
I'll make childcare available to all New Yorkers at no cost.
I want to raise my kid in New York.
And I'll freeze the rent for every single rent-stabilized tenant.
These Eric Adams rent hikes are killing us.
And that all sounds great. And if you're one of those families who are not making $300,000 a year, then his pitch is very attractive. But Zohran is a left-wing lunatic, like when it comes to things like defund the police. Here's what he said in the past.
Given the things that he said just a few years back, which included many calls to defund the New York City police and accusations that the NYPD is, quote, these are his words, racist and anti-queer and a major threat to public safety. He said the police were a major threat to public safety, suggesting that they were the ones that were creating a criminal environment, not the people of the streets. He says now, well, that's just because I was frustrated about the death of George Floyd at that time and the policies of Mayor Adams.
So they asked Mamdani, like, hey, Zohran, you said this. Did you really mean it? Are all police racist? You want to be mayor? He says, well, you see, I didn't really mean it that way. Here it is.
Mamdani also said that he has learned over in this running for mayor as to the kind of work.
My statements in 2020 were ones made amidst a frustration that many New Yorkers held at the murder of George Floyd and the inability to deliver on what Eric Adams, of all people, described as the right for all of us to be able to enjoy safety and justice, that we need not choose between the two.
So you got the ultra high tax, defund the police, everything free guy. He's running as the Democrat. And then you have Andrew Cuomo, Mr. Independent.
I'll hire 5,000 new cops to partner with local community groups and keep our families safe. And we'll get the homeless off the streets and into the help they desperately need. New York City has an affordability crisis, but we will rise. The minimum wage will rise. I raised it to the highest in the nation as governor. I'll do it here. 500,000 new affordable homes will rise. I did it as the nation's housing secretary. We can do it here. We built new bridges, train stations, and airports and got through COVID together.
Now he's right, we did get through COVID, but it wasn't easy because there was a lot of controversy with Andrew Cuomo and COVID.
After early praise for his leadership as his state became the U.S. epicenter of the pandemic, even writing a book on his leadership and receiving an Emmy for his regular briefings, Governor Andrew Cuomo now under fire from new accusations of underreporting New York nursing home deaths. This after facing backlash over his controversial policy sending infected residents who had been hospitalized with COVID back to nursing homes. Now New York State Attorney General saying there were almost 15,000 COVID nursing home deaths, nearly 50% more than initially reported.
And let's not forget he had to resign as governor because of all the sexual assault allegations.
Now at 4, stunning fall from grace. Governor Cuomo resigns under escalating political pressure after the bombshell report accusing him of sexual misconduct.
Now Zohran is extreme left, and Cuomo is now playing that center moderate Democrat role. And you can see this play out in Cuomo's policies. He's taking the left-wing position of raising the minimum wage to $20 an hour, and he's taking the right-wing position of increasing law enforcement, 5,000 more cops. Then you have Curtis Sliwa, the Republican nominee for mayor from New York City.
Now I'm running against 3 Democrats. Zohran, who is Bill de Blasio on steroids, and then Zohran Light, that's Cuomo and Eric Adams. All 3 are Democrats. They share more in common than they have in opposition to one another. I'm the only one saying you got to hire more cops, you got to give them their insurance back, you've got to enforce quality of life issues. None of them are saying that. And by the way, Zohran says give free fare on the buses. I have to laugh. Half the people don't pay the fare to begin with because there's no enforcement. Cuomo, when he was governor, didn't have any enforcement, and Eric Adams hasn't imposed any enforcement. I would. Everybody pays the fare.
Now, no one believes Curtis Sliwa has a shot at being mayor of New York City. Just so we all understand the numbers here, in New York City, there are 3.3 million registered Democrats and only 500,000 Republican voters. That's about a 6-to-1 advantage. Now, there have been some Republican mayors who have beaten the odds before. Recently, Rudy Giuliani and Mike Bloomberg. But here are the most recent polls.
According to a new poll, Andrew Cuomo and Zohran Mamdani would be in a neck-and-neck race if Republican candidate Curtis Sliwa drops out. We're just 15 days from Election Day.
A new poll finds Sliwa could be a make-or-break factor in the race. The data from AARP New York and Gotham Polling and Analytics shows Mamdani in the lead with 43%, ahead of Cuomo at 29% and Sliwa at 19%. If Sliwa drops out, the poll determined Cuomo would jump to just 4 points behind Mamdani within the margin of error.
Now, Sliwa says he's not going anywhere. He's not dropping out.
So please, I'm here in New York City. I was born in New York City. They tried to kill me in New York City. I will die in New York City. I will be buried in New York City. I know what's in the best interest of New York City. I'm not dropping out because some billionaires have vertigo. And by the way, they may know Wall Street, they may know hedge funds, they don't know anything about the streets of New York City.
Now, for those of you who don't know, Curtis Sliwa has a day job. And his day job, he's a radio host on 77 WABC. He's been doing that for decades. And not only are the other hosts of radio talk saying he should drop out, but even the boss of the network has publicly said he needs to drop out of the race.
Sliwa blew a gasket on the Sid and Friends radio show after host Sid Rosenberg and billionaire station owner John Catsimatidis said he should put his ego aside and get out of the race for the good of the city.
Curtis should pull out. Right now, we cannot take a chance. We cannot take a chance on Zohran winning. And the fact is that every common sense New Yorker, I think, feels the same way.
So now Curtis Sliwa quit his job because he's not going to quit the race even if his boss is pressuring him to.
Turning now to the mayor's race, where in an acrimonious blow-up, Curtis Sliwa quit his radio job after his boss and station regulars begged him to drop out of the race.
So now the New York's mayor's race is crazy. You have literally the left-wing extreme, defund the police, let everybody out of prisons guy, everything free socialist who wants to make New York York City into a socialist utopia. Then you move from far left to center where you got Andrew Cuomo. Hey, I like some of the far left guys' ideas and I like some of the far right guys' ideas. So vote for me because I'm a mix of the two. And then you have Curtis Sliwa, who is just Republican all the way, make America great again. And he has no chance because Democrats outnumber Republicans 6-1. Everyone knows it, even his bosses who are telling him he needs to get out the race. So 2 weeks to the New York City mayoral election, who do you think is going to win? Now, my prediction is I think Mamdani is got it. I think he's going to win. I think he has a momentum. I think he has the D, which is Democrat by his name, and I think it's going to be hard to beat him. And it's either between Mamdani or Cuomo. I think Sliwa has no chance. And my last thought is I would actually like Mamdani to win, to see it all fall apart. Give them what they asked for. That's what happened with the migrant crisis, right? Governor Abbott gave them what they wanted. They said, we want migrants. He sent them the migrants. And then they said, oh my God, state of emergency.
Tonight, the mayor of the largest city in the country saying the migrant crisis is pushing the city to the brink, declaring a state of emergency.
Our right to shelter laws, our social services, and our values are being exploited by others for political gain. New Yorkers are angry. I am angry too.
And that's what I mean. I think the best way to let people see the light is let them experience their own bad policies. Defund the police and let everybody out of jail with no consequences, crime explodes. The migrants, as you just saw, they suffered under their own policies. And if they believe Mamdani's policies are going to help the city and move it forward, then hell, let it be. Let the voters vote them in. And when they suffer, they will hopefully then see the light. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, do like great YouTube stuff. My name is Nate the Lawyer. I'm out. Peace.